Becky throwing bananas on the floor out the van. We've got some daffodils coming up, guys. Every single year we get daffodils growing up here.
It's meant to be good for the soil.
What, the daffodils?
No, the mouldy banana.
Oh, the mouldy banana.
The soil is it's like when you compost and you throw.
Yeah, it decomposes,
like
but I don't think that's going to break down before I cut the lawn.
I think you just get banana like in your face.
Yeah. It's another glorious day here in the south of England, and we're just on a quick walk down to the co-op because we've put our roast chicken in the oven and we've got about an hour and 20 minutes until it's ready, but we completely forgot to get any potatoes or anything. So we're walking down to the co-op to get some potatoes. Might get some parsnips as well, actually. I couldn't really be bothered to get changed this morning either, so I'm wearing my sloppy joes and I'm way too hot.
Sloppy joes?
Yeah. I've got like a jumper on, everything. Got my bum bag. Check it out, looking good. Got a couple of potatoes, which we can. These are quite big, so lots of roast potatoes. We're thinking of getting some more vegetables, but what we could do, everything in here is just in like a package, like nothing's loose, which is really annoying.
Well, it's more frozen peas because you need them anyway.
Yeah, alright, we'll get some frozen peas. Potatoes, frozen peas, cheesecake for pudding, lovely jubbly. Co-op do these new compostable bags now, which is really good. I don't know if I've shown you before, but yeah, much better than usual plastic. Let's get these peas in the freezer. In the amazing freezer, which I defrosted last week. Banging. Becky's just gone to move the car because I had to park it over the road this morning when I got back from work because someone was parked like right here and it was really annoying. And she said she wanted to move it, so Becky's moving the car. I need to baste the chicken though, because that hasn't been done for a while, so I'm gonna get it out and then give it a little bit of a bastage. Chicken is looking lovely and juicy now, so back in the oven we go. It's got around about an hour left until it's done, so need to get those potatoes on the go. And then bang them in the oven because they take about 45 minutes. Where are they? Over here. So we'll get that done next. Put them in some cold salty water and then get them on the hob. Like to part boil them first before they go in the oven, so they cook a little bit faster. And then what I like to do with roast potatoes is put a little bit of oil in the pan, pinch of salt, and then put the lid on. Give it a good whiz round. So they're all kind of like slightly mashed a little bit and covered in oil and salt. And then transfer them over to your baking tray and then bang them in the oven. Potato, peas, and one lovely roast dinner. Everybody. Bit of crispy chicken, peas, roast potatoes. We're saving the other half of the chicken for leftovers tomorrow, and there's a couple of potatoes there, so Becky can take those with her when she goes camping in the van. But roast dinner is going to go down a treat. I know that I'm obviously biased because I'm English, but I do truly think that a roast dinner is probably one of the best meals that you can have. But like I said, I'm probably biased because I'm English, I suppose.
You probably haven't tried enough different meals to say that.
No, I know.
From like other cultures.
Just put the chicken in a couple of Tupperware pots for some leftovers. You've got to put it in foil though, because it stops the chicken from going dry. So we'll just like let those cool down and then put them in the fridge. But I'm just having a go at this chicken, just sort of picking off all the leftover bits. Wow, so tasty. It's a bit weird that I'm attacking the carcass of a bird, but we can't have it going to waste. So tasty. I just wanted to come out into the garden. Not really to do anything. I did think about doing some gardening today. But I think it's still a little bit too wet to do it and maybe a bit too early. But I've been thinking for the last couple of weeks whether or not to cut the grass, but it's really soft and it's still a bit wet on the top because the sun doesn't really get here because this is like a north facing garden. So I think it's still a bit wet to cut the grass. Look, you can see the water in between these bricks. So I didn't quite want to do that, but I just kind of like wanted to have a look at the flower beds and see what's going on, because I literally haven't been out here since November, I think. And I think this is garlic, you know, I seem to remember. And for some reason it's all started growing again. I'm not really too sure why. Yeah, that's definitely garlic, isn't it? Which is quite interesting. We also planted loads of potatoes here. I don't know if you guys remember back before Christmas, probably about November time, we planted a load of potatoes here that were supposedly going to be ready for Christmas, but nothing ever really came of them. But I mean, it's looking a bit tatty, isn't it? The whole thing's a bit tatty. I think that historically, I say historically, over the last 2 years, all we've really had that we've grown and used is pretty much just onions and potatoes. So I think that this year, rather than doing loads of other things like carrots and beetroot and spinach and all of that, I think that initially I want to focus on onions and potatoes because they're easy to store and they last for ages and we actually get through them quite quickly. So I definitely want to do that. I want to see what happens with this garlic because that's growing a lot better now than it did last year. Maybe it's kind of like one of those things where you have to grow it over the winter and then it grows the following year. If that's the case, then that's great. We can have loads of garlic. Greenhouse, I'm not really too sure what we're going to do in there. I mean, we grew tomatoes last year, but tomatoes, I find, you kind of grow them and then you eat them while you're watering them, so they're kind of like a bit pointless growing them. But we also planted a couple of plants last year. This is one of them as well. I think it was like some yellow thing. It looks like completely dead. I don't know if that's still alive or if that's gone. Hopefully it will come back to life. And this is our lavender plant. I think we planted this like 2 years ago and that was really good last year. We like lavender because it's good for the bees and also smells really great as well. We might put a few more lavenders in here and have kind of like a big sort of lavender bush thing. It's kind of quite annoying because we don't own this house, so I feel like I don't really want to go too mad with anything. I don't want to be building any flower beds or anything like that. Whereas if we owned it, then we could like go crazy. I'd knock down that garage in like a second if we owned this place because it's so old. And I'd sort of re-landscape the whole garden, but that's obviously not an option. So just a couple of basics, growing some vegetables. Going to start off with potatoes and onions and see what happens with that garlic. And I guess we'll kind of go from there. Soup! 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 You eating more cheesecake?
No.
We decided to save a bit of cheesecake for after tea.
Probably need to eat that.
Oh, you want to eat the bacon?
I said we probably need to.
Okay. I can have some bacon for tea. What are you going to have? Do you want some soup?
No, I'm going to have cheese toasty.
You're going to have a cheese toasty? I'm having soup. I'm like really bigging up the soup at the moment. I don't really know why. Like tin soup as well. Going through a phase. We're thinking of watching a movie this evening, guys. We're going to have a look through Netflix. Maybe a look on Amazon Prime, see what's going on, see what's happening. I haven't got any shout outs this Sunday. None of you guys have requested a shout out, so there's not going to be any today. If you do want one next week though, you've got to let me know, and then I'll make a list and I'll make sure I give you a shout out. But none this week, I'm afraid. Your fault, not mine. But we're just going to have some tea, finish off the cheesecake. Hopefully Joss will be back next weekend.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, as far as I know, he's going to be back, but we'll wait and see, I suppose.
What?
Becky's family will come over on Sunday for dinner because it's Cheryl's birthday, not on Sunday, but they'll come on Sunday. Not really too sure what else we're going to do. It depends on the weather. I'd like to do some gardening, like I said earlier, but it all depends on the weather. If it's raining, then no gardening. But that's pretty much all for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed our video today of roast dinner and a slight gardening update, I guess, and a bit of soup. But until next week, guys, take care of yourselves, stay alive, and don't forget to leave a comment if you want to shout out next Sunday. But until next weekend, guys, have a good one, and have a lovely week. See ya!